So this special edition of Folk on Foot, devoted to the Folk Album of the Year award, is to showcase the extraordinary album Turnstone by the Gigspanner Big Band. And I'm delighted that 50% of the band have joined me now. Peter Knight, fiddle and vocals, Hannah Martin, fiddle, banjo, vocals, John Spiers, squeeze box and vocals. And we should doff our caps to those members of the band who are not here. Philip Henry on dobro and harmonica, Roger Flack on guitar, and Sasha Troshett on percussion. But first of all, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations on your nomination as a Folk Album of the Year. Who is going to explain to me what a turnstone is?
A turnstone is a bird that searches for its treasures and food by turning over stones, and we thought that it was much like the process of finding the right traditional songs to include on an album. You turn over a lot of stones before you find the right one just glimmering there in the dirt, in the mud.
How does that process work, John, for example? Do you go and research in libraries and that kind of thing before you put the repertoire together?
Yeah, it's a variety of different sources. I think everyone who brings songs to the band will find them in some way or the other, but we know when we're going to be making an album, it's time to start looking. There are some fantastic online resources now, libraries have put a lot of the material from the folk collectors over the years in a much more accessible way than they used to be. So you can do it from the comfort of your own home rather than going and seeking stuff out. But also I think there's things that have ended up on the album which are things that we may have picked up years and years ago in sessions, and just something in the creative process triggered a thought, thinking, well, maybe we should put that with that. And something comes from the back of your memory. Anything's fair game when we're looking for material.
And Peter, people have described this as a supergroup because in a way it's an amalgam of different groups. You know, John's obviously in Bellowhead. You've got the Gigspanner Trio. Hannah is in Edgelarks with Philip Henry. But what's amazing about it is the way that you all blend together. And I suppose you've been playing together now for so long that there is a sort of sensibility between you as different extraordinary musicians.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's all based on trust. Really, I mean, it's everyone plays in a different way. Their influences are different. Their ways of making the best music that they can make can be different. But there's a trust there, and which shows up in the fact that we all love to improvise, and which is a very important part of my playing. It's now a combination of all the music that I loved. Coming back to the songs and how we find them, I tend to choose songs that I've heard, because I remember going and even perform like with Steel Eye or whatever, like you know, some of the songs that I bring into the band. And I remember going to the shop house all those years ago with Maddie, and we would get them to open up those cabinets where the really precious songbooks are, to trying to find songs that people haven't recorded. And it's actually getting more and more difficult because people have gone through those songs and they just say, no, that's actually not a great song. I don't think we should do that, you know. So the way that Gigspanner treats the songs, for me, it makes us apart from other bands, you know, and great bands.
Sauve, tell us about that song Sauve, Peter.
Well, I've heard it a lot. I think the first time I heard it was, Pentangle have recorded it, and it was Carthy and Swarbrick did a version of it. I'd always loved the song, and I think when we were throwing song ideas around, I think that I mentioned to Hannah Sauve, and Hannah actually said, yeah, I was thinking of that too. It's just a great song.
Sauve, Sauve, all of her days, she dressed herself in man's array, with a brace of pistols all by her side, to meet her true love, away she rides. As she was galloping over over the plain. She spied her true love and bid him stand and deliver, young man, she said. And if you do not, I'll shoot you dead. He delivered up his golden store, but still too brave for one thing more. That diamond ring that I see you wear, oh, hand it over, and your life I'll spare. My diamond ring I will not part, for it's a token from my sweetheart. Shoot and be damned, you rogue, said he, and you'll be hanged then, for murdering me. Next morning in the garden green, young Sauve and her true love was seen. He spied his watch hanging from her clothes, which made him blush, lads, like any rose. Why do you blush, you silly young thing? I thought to have that diamond ring to beside her of you all on that plain. So here's your gold, love, here's your gold and your watch and chain. I only did it for to know if you would be my true love or no. If you had given me that ring, she said, I'd have pulled the trigger and shot you dead.
Not all songs survive. They're of the rehearsal type, and there are casualties sometimes with a song that you bring in. You think, you work on it for a day or something, and then it's try this and try that and try this, and let's go back to that bit again and try that, and eventually, sometimes on some songs, you have to give up. And on the Turnstone album, for instance, and we touched on this briefly yesterday, with 4-tune Turnstone Wheel, that's an example of a song that's a lovely song, but it sort of wasn't going anywhere. And I remember in rehearsal, I just said, and I think John was actually out of the room at the time, and I've got a feeling Sasha was out of the room, we're having a coffee break or whatever, and I said to Hannah, why don't you just sing the song and we'll just accompany it and see what happens, forget the rhythm, just sing the song. And Hannah said, I'm in, because Hannah's pretty fearless, the same as everyone in the band. And Hannah said, I'm in. And we started playing it, and I think John wandered in, and I remember John's face sort of went, like this. Then John joins in. Then so that's how that song has remained, and the version on the album is just another spontaneous performance of that song.
Come fill a glass, let's drink about this night will merry be. For harmony and friendship free, likewise my comrades you. To meet you all once more, my friends, a sacred joy I feel, and far away I'll no more stray till fortune turns her wheel. 'Tis not vain clothes nor bold which are the measure of a man. For when we meet a man in straits, we shake a friendly hand. With them we'll sit, with them we'll drink, to them our minds reveal. And friends will be whichever way blind fortune turns her wheel. But oh, I loved a bonny lass, it's her I'll justly blame. For when hard fortune frowned on me, she denied she knew my name. But falsehood by remorse is paid, to her I'll never kneel. I'll sweethearts find both fair and kind, when fortune turns her wheel. and snow, with not one to pity me, nor yet to wish me well. But maybe I'll repay them back when fortune turns her wheel, and some of my pretending friends, if friends I may them call, prove false and turn their backs on me when mine was at the wall. But in this glass I'll let it pass, I'm sure I wish them well. If my hard fate on them await, let fortune turn her wheel. Adieu, ye hills of Caledon, likewise sweet Avondale. Friendship binds the strongest ties, love tells the softest tale. Adieu, my friends and comrades here, I know you wish me well, and maybe I can pay that debt when fortune turns her wheel.
Hannah, Peter talks about being fearless. Is it quite nerve-wracking to throw yourself in to the deep end like that and just see what happens?
Yes. It is, but he's right. It is about trust, knowing that, trusting that. Well, it's not a problem to trust the other musicians in the band to sort of to follow me when I'm singing. Sometimes it is about trusting myself to make sure I'm not going to forget the words or get lost in it too much. To sort of find our way back to the song part that's kind of everything's coming from. But yeah, that's what improvising is all about, really. It's sort of jump and the net will appear.
And I think you brought some songs from the Nominee tradition, Hannah, into the album.
I did, yeah. I have this excellent book. Actually, I was doing a gig with Miranda Sykes. We have a duo, Sykes Martin, and also on the lineup was Cohen Braithwaite Kilcoyne, who I'm sure you know. And he was part of making these lovely books of songs from various slightly random manuscripts that you may not have come across, kind of thing, like collections by Nick Dow. Cohen did the musical notation, and there's one called A Secret Stream, which is folk songs collected from English gypsies, and I found it to be a very rich resource, because I actually really like going back to a kind of manuscript collected version of a song, so that I don't just steal someone else's version unwittingly, because I kind of feel like
Start at the root, right?
yeah,
Root.
hopefully, yeah. I mean, obviously, you could listen to the source singer. Perhaps that would be even more of the root, because I guess there's a process involved with collecting and notating a song where there's an editorial process, isn't there? But anyway, this particular book is a lovely thing. And I got Basket of Eggs from there, and Betsy Williams as well.
Oh, Betsy Williams, it is my name. I brought myself to grief and shame by loving a young man that never loved me. Oh, it's sorrow now, then I plainly see. Oh, there is an ale house in yonder's town where my true love goes and sits him down. He sits that strange girl on his knee, and don't you think that's a grief to me? Oh, a grief, and I tell you why. Because she's got more gold than I. Oh, but gold will melt and her beauty blast. Poor girl, she'll come down like me at last. Oh, when I wore my apron low, my love followed me through the frost and snow. But now I wear it up to my chin. He passes by and he says nothing. I wish, but all in vain. Oh, I wish I was a maid again. But a maid again I will never more be, till apples grow on an orange tree. Oh, there's a bird in yonder's tree. Some say it's blind and it cannot see. Oh, I wish it had have been so by me, when first I kept my love's company. Oh, Betsy Williams, it is my name. I put myself to grief and shame by loving a young man that never loved me. Oh, with sorrow now then I plainly see.
John, I wanted to ask you about the song that you sing on the album, The Rolling of the Stones. Tell us about the story behind that.
Well, it's one of these ballads that's part of the Two Brothers ballad family, and they're quite diverse all over the place. But in my encountering of that song, I can't remember which album it was. It might have been an early Blows a Bella album. When they used to put songs in between their dance tunes. I just remember hearing it and absolutely loving the sort of rolling melody and the kind of simplicity of it, because quite often ballads can be quite wordy, but this one isn't particularly wordy. It sort of gets to the point quite quickly.
And what's the story?
It's about basically this brother gets murdered at the dance where they go say, will you go to the rolling of the stones or the tossing of the ball, or will you go and see Pretty Susie and dance among them all? He chooses to go to the dance, and then immediately in the second or third verse gets stabbed to death, and they try and save him, but it's to no avail. He gets buried in the woods or lain out in the woods, and in this version, basically that's as much plot as there is, and the rest of it is sort of a bit of magic creeps in, whether you don't really know whether he's alive or he's dead, or whether his sweetheart Susie is his sweetheart in mourning, or whether she is some kind of supernatural being bringing him back from the dead. And it's the song to me is more about the imagery and the magic, and it's sort of detached from the other versions of this ballad are very prosaic, and they go into details about, all the little details. But literally, the song is this thing happens, and then the magic happens, and it kind of feels very supernatural.
Will you go to the rolling of the stones or the tossing of the ball? Or will you go and see Pretty Susie dance among them all? I will not go to the rolling of the stones, the tossing of the ball, but I will go and see Pretty Susie dance among them all. Susie charmed the birds from the sky, the fish from out of the bay, and when she lay in a true lover's arms, there was content to stay. They had not danced but one single dance, not half the floor around, when the sword that hung from a brother's side gave him a dreadful wound. They picked him up, they carried him along, they laid him there on the ground, and there he lay till the break of day, and made not a single sign. Susie came wandering by with a tablet under her arm, until she came to her true lover's grave, and she began to charm. She charmed the fishes out of the sea, the birds from off their drink of the blood, the white wine and the red? Or will you go and see pretty Susie when that I am dead?
Will you talk to us a bit about the recording process? Did you record on tour? Did you record while you were actually working together on tour, Peter?
Yes, we did. We recorded every gig. And then the process after that was listening to all the versions and choosing the best versions and then getting them, mixed and mastered and, little changes here and there. Ed, who did it all for us, Ed Blakely, he would send us rough mixes of things and we would get back to him and say, not sure about this or not sure about that. And what was quite interesting, there was one gig which actually quite the bulk of the material came from. It was quite extraordinary, but there were lots of versions to choose from. And it wasn't such a painful process. I mean, I think we were all pretty unanimous about the choices that we made.
And so what we get, John, is the capturing of those live performances in an album, which is quite an extraordinary thing to have, isn't it?
I think it's a brilliant way to record. I've never done it before with any other band, and quite often the process of making an album is that you rehearse the material and then you go into a studio and record it, and then you play it a lot after you've released the album, and the arrangement changes in that organic process of playing it live and gets, to my mind, quite often better. And you're left with an album version that you're not familiar with anymore. The way we do it with the Gigspanner Big Band is that we record almost all the performances we do in full multi-track, and then it's no surprise to me that gig where most of the material came from was the last one of the tour. We'd played material in, we were comfortable with it, and I think we also thought we had everything in the bag with the album, so the pressure was off.
Yeah, very
And
much.
then we did it better, and it was a lovely way. So you hear the songs played in and played to an audience where there's that connection. I think it's a great way to do it.
Hannah, do you want to talk about that process too?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes the gigs better as well, actually. It certainly means that you turn up on stage feeling very alive to every nuance every single night, and it really hones your concentration, which is great because I think, you know, when you're doing a lot of gigs of the same material, also the improvisation helps, of course, because you have to keep listening. But it's nice to not have that sort of too relaxed thing where you get a bit bored. You're never going to be bored with a Gigspanner Big Band.
Always on your mettle, always
Yeah, exactly.
working on the edge. Can we talk about Hind Horn, which I think is a child's ballad? Tell us about that song and the arrangement that you've made of it.
I mean, it's a song that a lot of people have done, but I somehow had missed this. And I was doing my usual thing of going through my songbooks for songs that I haven't personally done and it sounded interesting, good story, good tune, etc. And I came across it in a book called A Bonny Bunch of Roses, Songs of England, Ireland and Scotland. And it had a nice tune, and I was just playing around with it on the banjo with this kind of nice sort of modal thing going on. But it had 18, in fact, even more verses. I think I cut some out for our arrangement. We whittled it down to 18 verses. And so the recording process for me with that one was particularly intense because every night I was like, right, tonight I'm going to get every single word correct. And I think it may have only been on that last gig. I definitely got all the words in the right place. All the she's and he's just quite, perfect. But yeah, it's a great song and I'm really pleased with what we ended up doing with it.
Near Edinburgh town was a young child born, with a high-loo low and a high-loo loud. His name was called Young Hind Horn, and the bark and the bramble bunny o. For 7 long years he served the king, with a high-loo low and a high-loo loud, all for the sake of the Princess Jean, and the bark and the bramble bunny o. The king an angry man was he, with a high-loo low and a high-loo loud. He sent young Hind Horn to the sea, and the bark and the bramble bunny o. She's given to him a golden ring, with a high-loo low and a high-loo loud, and 7 diamonds set therein, and the bark and the bramble bunny o. When this ring grows pale and wan, with a high-loo low and a high-loo loud, the bark and the problem bonny oh. One day he's looked this ring on with a high loo low and a high loo low, and he knew she loved another man. High loo low, 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 high. He's left the sea and he's come to the land with a high loo low and a high loo land. And there he met a beggar man, and the bark and the problem bonny oh. What news to thee betide? With a high loo low and a high loo land. No news but Princess Jean's bride, and the bark and the problem bonny oh. Will you give me thy begging tweed? I'll give you my riding steed. The beggar he was bound for to ride. I told he was bound for the bride. When he got to the king's own gate, he sought to drink the hindhand sake. He drank of the wine and he dropped in the reed, and he bade them take it to Princess Jean. Got you this ring by sea or land, with a high loo low or a high loo land. Oh, got you this from a dead man's hand, and the bark and the problem bonny oh. Not from the sea and not from the land, with a high loo low and a high loo land. But I got this from your own hand, and the bark and the problem bonny oh. I'll cast off my gown of brown, with a high loo low and a high loo land. I'll follow you from town to town, with a high loo low and a high loo land. You needn't cast off your gown of brown,